So, aircraft carriers and AA update. I'm skipping all the stuff that's not really relevant to the CVs and surface ship interactions. So, we're delivering a new set of improvements for aircraft carrier and AA gameplay. Update 15.7 will bring a set of changes that have been in testing for some time with a link, but aimed at making any aircraft defenses more impactful and easier to use. Blah. All right. Reinforcing the carrier's role in team support. Okay. So I did read this earlier, so this is actually me reading back through it with you guys. But let's see. The old priority sector mechanic is being replaced. Okay, they had talked about doing that. There will no longer be a need to track direction of incoming aircraft and frantically switch broadsides. Just press O or tilde to activate the AA defense priority. And it will be a standard damage boost that now covers a full 360 degrees and is available to ships as a baseline AA tool. As long as it's got AA rating, I'm assuming. Hit up! 7. Smart ass. How you doing, Pitta? Can we get a shout out for Pitta Skiller, please? And I will pick the 7th CV somehow. I'm not even sure how that's going to work, but I'll pick a 7th CV for you as soon as I'm done doing this. We'll give it a shot. All right. So basically, here's the cool thing. Because it's actually going to be a full 360 instead of just half, it removes the guesswork. This is easier. This is something I was saying they should be doing for a while. You know, that's just kind of a duh dipshit. You got aircraft within your AA defense range. Press the button and you get a buff if you're paying attention. So that's good. I think that is going to be a much better thing. It also helps out from the aspect of if you've got a ship coming in from or planes coming in from one side and they make it through to the other, or they're coming in like on your bow. How do you do that? It's so. This I think is actually a much better thing, and I've been saying this for a while that this should be implemented. So I'm glad that they actually are going forward with it. Building on top of that, there is a new concentrated AA fire. And I think of this as an improved, stronger version of AA defense priority. Then it needs some time to build up, though. So we're introducing it to discourage enemy airplanes from consistently attacking the same ship. And it's designed to work with that goal in mind. So this is actually going to be hurting the Russians the most. Concentrated AA fire will have a progress bar that fills when your AA guns are firing at enemy aircraft that are in range of your AA. Okay, so once charged, you press the O or tilde again, and it unleashes a temporary boost of your AA defenses even further. So, see if we can do this. Okay, so you've got the boost here. You press the button, and it actually activates it and gives you a nice damage buff. So that's pretty cool. And then it stays active for what appears to be about 40 seconds, is I think what they said. See, when active, concentrated AA fire deals instantaneous damage, so it's like priority sector now, to enemy aircraft, repeating at certain intervals, and increases continuous AA damage until explosion damage. Okay, so note that the actual AA performance boost you get is dependent on certain factors. Instantaneous damage is based on, so it's a percentage of the squadron's HP. So it's just like priority sector now, which is cool. And the effect of continuous damage is defined by the ship's AA gun. So in other words, if you got crap AA, you aren't going to get anything. So, aircraft carrier. Oh, wow, this is interesting. Oh, okay, I see how they're doing this. Aircraft carriers, basically everything except for the Atlanta and Flit are getting a 25% continuous AA buff. Shell Explosion is getting a 200% buff, except for the Atlanta and Flit is getting 400. So that's going to be nice. That's actually going to make those two more viable again as AA platforms, which is going to be really cool. So, but everybody else is getting a 200% shell explosion and 25% continuous AA. That's, okay. Instantaneous damage of 3.5% of the enemy squadron's HP. So it's and it's every 5 seconds. Destroyers give 5% of the enemy's HP every 5 seconds. That's cool for destroyers specifically. So I really think that's cool because you get the extra hit points taken off if they're DDs. Now that's going to make things like Trust, Miss Love. Thank you, Trust. Welcome in, Raiders. Can we get a shout out for both Trust Anyone, who is an amazing variety streamer, and Miss Love as well? Thank you, Graves. Playing Euro Truck Simulator. Nice. Good evening, my friend. How are you? How's life across the pond? Thank you, Miss Love. I thought you were already following, but hey, welcome. So we are going over the. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Angelic Cypher. I'm mostly known for World of Warships content. I'm an aircraft carrier main. I teach people how to play carriers and how to play against them. Hot, nice. CV main indeed. How you doing, Rogue? I am also a variety streamer. I do play things like survival horror. I've also been known to play Souls-ish games, and I'm working on getting the setup to do flight sims on stream in VR. So, can we get a shout out for Rogue Pope as well, please? So we are just going over the fun new notes with the changes to AA and CVs. Follows are free, indeed. Thank you, Rogue, for pimping out my follows. Twitch also does Twitch things, Miss Love, so God only knows. Thank you, FBB. Appreciate it. No, I think this is cool because the you get the instantaneous damage when this is built up of 3.5% per 5 seconds for everybody except destroyers, who get 5% because destroyers frequently get a little shit on. So, it's 40 seconds active time, 2.5 seconds, 2.5% per second of active AA fire. Okay. So, and it's 70 seconds before you start losing. And progress is lost at a rate of 5%. Okay. So I love the fact that this actually could build up, but it also depletes. So if I as the CV decide to play hopscotch and I'm not really hitting you or near you, it's not going to build you up. So I really have to pay attention to where I'm hitting and kind of spread the love, if you will. So this is actually going to increase the skill floor for CV somewhat if people actually pay attention and use the bloody skill. There's my caveat. Let's see. The progress bar begins to drain slowly if not charged for some time, but won't drop once it's fully charged. Okay, so it just acts like any other like special orders. This allows you to save an activation for a strategic moment. Okay. Concentrated AA fire shares a cooldown with AA defense priority as they support the same underlying combat system. Okay, so it's basically just you take the AA defense priority, which is the new priority sector, and when you have have it available, you can slap that, and you basically get a 25% continuous buff, 200% explosive buff, and then anywhere from 3.5 to 5% of the squadron's HP every 5 seconds. So that's cool. So that's definitely going to help make things more impactful. So together these changes, okay, yeah. Together these changes give every ship a way to boost its AA without relying on a specific consumable, which is really cool. Still not going to help the Agincourt though, so I'm sorry guys. AA defense priority will be your regular tool, while to get its enhanced form you can wait for the concentrated AA fire to charge up. Okay. And this is actually pretty cool to what defensive AA fire did. It's not exactly even, but it could build potentially faster. So, and you don't have to worry about taking a consumable slot. And to make sure you feel the impact of your improved AA fire, we've updated its sounds. Okay, so okay, cool. It's a feels good thing on that one. Like, here, it sounds better. Okay. Which, admittedly, when you're doing something like firing off the Yamato guns, it's just like, especially when you get to the Yamato for the first time, you're like, oh, you know? Yeah, it does feel better. All right, defensive AA fire changes. So the consumable and its related modification are being reworked as part of this feature. I don't know anybody who actually took the modification, the coal modification for it. Defensive AA Fire Mod 1 will be removed from the game. Okay. If you have any on your account, you'll receive 17,000 coal for each one owned. For each owned copy as compensation. Okay. So basically, they're reimbursing you the full coal amount. Which, if you do have them and you used if you do have them and you used a coupon to get them, you're actually going to make 5,000 coal. But hey, that might be an idea. Start buying them now. Get 5,000 more coal when they redeem. Defensive AA fire consumable will be replaced with auxiliary and torpedo weaponry coordination. It provides concentrated AA fire progress gain, improves shell damage of secondary guns, and reduces the reload times of airstrike and torpedo launchers. Okay. Ships that previously carried improved defensive AA consumable, such as U.S. destroyers. I might have some coal upgrades for DFA, but I don't remember how many. Will receive an improved version of the new consumable. Okay. Some ships with HE airstrikes, such as so the new consumable of auxiliary and torpedo weaponry coordination. Things like the U.S. destroyers are going to get a better version of that. Some ships with HE airstrikes, such as the Dutch cruisers, will get a version of the consumable with a reduced bonus to airstrike reload time. So you're still going to get a bonus, but it's not going to be as impactful as it would for everybody else. Commander skills, signals, and flags and upgrades will be adapted accordingly. So what does this actually do? Airstrike armament reload time negative 20%. Torpedo tube reload time negative 20%. Cool. And this is all on a consumable. I love this idea. Secondary battery damage plus 10%. Concentrated AA fire progress per second is going to be an additional 1.2 per second. Okay. So it doesn't actually buff your AA itself, but it helps you build the concentrated AA fire. That's kind of cool. But it does so much more. And the consumable action time's 30 seconds, cooldown time's a buck 20. And okay. But this is only for people who already had DFAA in a slot. That's actually kind of cool, which allow you to choose between this and like Hydro, or depending on what the variables are. So, or in the case of the American destroyers, you could choose between this and a speed boost, which that's actually kind of cool. Drop your reload time by 20 seconds in a gearing. That'd be funny. So it's not quite, a torpedo reload booster, but it's definitely something that's kind of cool. Yeah, there's probably going to be balancing tweaks to this, I'm sure, but we'll see what happens with it. Due to the changes described above, the overall effectiveness of AA defensive battle will be the same as or higher than before. Yep, even without the defensive fire. Cool. Within the updated system, all the core AA tools will be built into a ship. And we saw this opportunity to replace the mandatory AA consumable with something more valuable. I agree. I've been saying this for a long time. DFAA is a really cool skill. The problem with DFAA is, are you going to run into a CV? If you don't know if you're going to run into a CV or not, taking that in that slot could be completely useless. So that's my biggest problem with the consumable if it's one that you can switch out. I mean, if it's something like Worcester, you're going to have it going into a battle regardless. Why? Because her kit is all about the extra consumables. But that's actually kind of cool. Donkey, I think that's actually very viable. Now I will say though, if you're running something like a Zao and you're doing like the whole far out, thank you very much for getting Donkey a shout out. So, um, if if you're doing the whole far away sniping with a Zao or a Yodo, the likelihood that something like the Hydro is going to be as effective as DFAA, because the likelihood you're going to be out by yourself, DFAA is potentially going to be more impactful, and Zhao's DFAA is actually not bad. So, but I mean, it just depends on how you're playing and whatnot. But I can see an argument for doing it, is what I'm saying. So, but this now is not. It's not even a matter of an issue, because you now it's just, do you want Hydro or do you want something that can boost several things at once? It's just going to depend on how you want to play. So that said, um, across multiple scenarios, I agree, because again, if you take DFAA and there's no CV, what do? And I've seen that argument that FBB is making right there. And actually, the first person that pointed that out to FBB was Ascons, and I think I vaguely remember Ascons going off on that. And it's a viable argument, but again, here shortly we won't need to worry about it. So, and folks, Sea Donkey Gaming is a good friend, good people. He's also a fellow Death Strike community contrib. Give him a follow if you're not. Great guy, absolutely wonderful streamer. See, so where are we at? Our goal is to offer more flexibility in builds and gameplay without compromising game balance or ship identity. Okay, and for ships with a choice of consumables to create a real competition for popular options like hydroacoustic. That's why we decided to enhance all the ship's auxiliary weaponry, making it more useful across various ship types and situations. I honestly, this is something that I've been saying they need to do for a long time. Smack them together. Yeah, again, Donkey, I don't disagree with you at all. I could, it was one of those things where it wasn't much of a choice per se, but I like what they're doing with this. I've been saying they should be doing this for a while. Um, as AA Fire becomes more impactful with these changes, we will apply slight adjustments to the balance. Check them out in a separate develop blog here, which I actually already pulled up. So here's the cool thing. The vast majority of this, I can summarize this. Basically, they're dropping the aircraft preparation time, and it's not a whole lot. Hey, I love your 2 cents. Um, so I've had some people already screaming about, oh my god, see, they're buffing carriers. Guys, dropping 59 to 54 seconds, that's a 5-second difference for a single plane. One. And then you're still going to have to wait an additional 54 seconds to get the next one. Yeah, I agree with FBB. So, I mean, this is a little bit of a tweak, because I was reading out everything in this, and the one thing that really stuck out to me was, okay, they're buffing the AA, they're making it more impactful. It's going to hurt more, which means I'm going to lose more planes. Not a lot more, but I'm going to lose more, and I'm going to have to pay attention to more to what I'm doing. So this is a higher skill floor thing for CVs, which has been needed for some time. CVs are a little too easy. So, now that said, where this comes in, if you want to be able to balance it out, where you increase CAA because you're trying to make it more impactful, well, obviously increasing the speed, armor, or hit points or anything along those lines is basically going to be a wash on increasing the AA. So how do you make it so that CV is not screwed? And this is it. They're reducing this squadron reload. But one thing that I did notice in here, so these are all, let's see, Richtofen and Hosho, Ryojo's, Shokaku, blah. They aren't changing anything else besides their prep time. Yes, yes. It is. I'll scroll back up here in a minute, Donkey, and I'll show you. Yes, FBB. I also agree with that. So Independencia, great. Now, one thing I want you to notice here: torpedo bombers. Okay, that's the only squadron they're changing for Independencia. Why? Let me, since a lot of people don't know about the Independencia, let me go with something that they might. Eagle, torpedo bomber, and dive bomber. They are not changing the prep time for tacticals. They're only changing it for non-tactical squadrons. So tacticals are going to have the exact same prep time they currently do. 15-7, yes. Yeah, I agree with you, Donkey. That was, again, yet another change that I was saying they need to do. And they're getting rid of the DFA consumable. They're also building it so the load up time. So if you are in AA long enough, it's going to build up the charge for everybody you're in AA. But it works like any of the other build up principles, like these special orders, that if it doesn't get used, or if it doesn't get built all the way up to full, it'll slowly start to lose charge. Yes, the loiter mechanic. So I can't keep attacking you without triggering that, and it's basically almost a full DFAA buff. It's pretty cool. So, and when I say full DFAA buff, if you, it actually, no, it works out better, because it does the, it increases your continuous damage by 50%, or excuse me, 25%, 200% flak damage increase, as well as it does a base 3.5% of hit points to the squadron every 5 seconds. So whatever the squadron's hit points are, it's just going to take off 3.5% every 5 seconds. Unless you're a destroyer, then it takes off 5% every 5 seconds. So good news for you DD mains out there, eh, Donkey? So and that's, again, whatever their base HP is. So if you've got an FDR going over you, yeah, they got a lot of hit points, but that's still 5% every 5 seconds. So plus your whatever else you've got there. So yeah, it's going to be impactful. But other than that, I'm pretty sure this is every single CV in the game. Or no, it's not. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 20. No, I'm skipping that one. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. It's not. They're missing 13 CVs. They're not on this list. Hornet's not on this list. I don't. Arc Royal's not on the list. Graf Zeppelin's not on the list. Yeah, there's 13 CVs that are not on this list. So I'm gonna have to be more careful with those. Hey, Occam's. Yeah, Colossus. Yeah. Aquila. Yeah. I was just trying to go off the top of my head, but yeah, there's a bunch that are missing off this list. Cool. So it's not every CV even. Anyway, so that's the changes they're making. It's just reducing the ship, the preparation time, and it's not by a whole lot. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm expecting to get my ass kicked for at least a week. Yeah, it's definitely mostly positive for surface ships, because all you really have to do is hit tilde or O, whichever one it is, and pay attention. Now, here's where this is going to be fun. Targeted tactical consumables. This is where the skill 4 for CVs is really going to ramp up. And hope to God you've got a good CV with half of a brain on your team. Yeah, I know you do, but you remap yours. All right. So we've given AA its due. Now it's only fair that the flight decks get some attention. Okay? And I think it's funny because they're giving the flight decks attention by not giving the flight decks attention, because you're giving the flight decks something to help your teammates. But, here we go. So we want to strengthen their support role and give them more opportunities to lend hand to allies. Yay! Just like the fighters. The fact that I could put fighters wherever, I love this idea. So 2 new squadron consumables. They'll be activated directly from the squadron, so it'll be a squadron consumable, which you can see here. Ba, 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 ba. And on the tactical map, select a target within range while delivering. Is typically swift. In certain rare situations, it can be shot down. So if you're right next to something that has um, a lot of AA and you're begging for the CV to help you, probably not going to make you do any good. So, but let's take a look and see what the Japanese do. So they've got, Japanese and German tech trees. And it's firefighting assistance. So it's a water drop that immediately extinguishes all active fires on the target and grants temporary fire immunity. Added to attack aircraft and torpedo bombers. Attack aircraft is actually going to become more viable for especially the Japanese. That's going to be useful. Torpedo bombers of each tech tree for Japanese and German aircraft carriers from tier 6 and up. So, oh, that's interesting. I just lost my headphones. So tier 4s won't get this at all. So let's take a look and see how this actually looks. Again, you can see it right here. And it's on the so he's got a fire on him there. Okay, so you just literally target on the mini map, and boop, it just has to nick you and it puts out all fires. Works for me. Yes, rocket planes on the IJN are actually going to be useful. So I think that's really cool. The hard part about this is going to be coordinating, like, if you've got a fire and your damage control party's almost available, and I'm like, oh, here, let me fix that for you, and I waste a consumable, yeah, I'm going to have to watch out for that. That's going to be the hardest part. But again, it's only tier 6 and up, so tier 4s are not going to have any of this. And repair assistance, a drop that restores ship HP over time, added to attack aircraft and torpedo bombers of the Brits. So Brits are finally getting something to help out better. Thank God. So Musashi. And oh, okay, you see the little box dropping there. There it goes. And it's basically a little mini repair party. So that's kind of cool. You Musashi me a question? Okay, what's the question, Gray Ferret? How you doing? And thank you for getting Occam's shout out there, Graves. I appreciate it. Can we get one for Gray Ferret as well? You just had to make the... Okay. I wasn't sure if you were just making the joke or if you were doing it in a fun way. So, tactical map will show allied ships currently on fire, as well as ships that already have an active targeted tactical consumable applied to them. Okay. Same ship or same type targeted tactical consumables cannot stack on one ship. Okay. So we've tuned these consumables to be meaningful support tools that complement your existing team play. So cannot stack on one ship. Does that mean you could only use one at a time? Or one on them ever? I don't know. That remains to be questioned. And it's also, honestly, it's going to piss me off if I go to help somebody and then they repair after I've already sent out the plane. It'd be like, motherfucker, you know? That is something that's going to piss me off. I'm hoping that maybe there's a radio button or something we can do to to call for that. It's one at a time. That's what I'm thinking as well, but that's also not great syntax, so I'm not entirely sure. So that's what the dev blog is really talking about. Is so ultimately, I see this as a win-win-win. It's going to raise the skill floor for CVs.